Hey, what's going on? We're back with yet another video. We are back. If you haven't been here before, my name is Cody Lee. Welcome to my channel. If you like, comment, and subscribe, you can see even more of me. If you would like to, my predictions weren't great last week, but they were usually pretty good, and we're going to go over our top 10 teams again. Yeah, we're going to do it yet again. And this time, I think I'm going to try to make it a little bit more make sense. I'm going to go with the 2-1 teams and the 3-0 teams. 3-0 teams obviously at the top because they continue to win, so they should be at the top because they won their games. But anyway, let's shut up. Let's get on with it. Number 10 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Ever since they lost to the 49ers, they bounced back with two back-to-back dominant performances, one against the Steelers, one against the Saints. Either way, they're beating all the teams that have an S at the beginning of their name, and they do too, so it kind of makes sense, right? Sam Darnold's playing really good ball. Defense is playing really good football. They're running the ball fairly well. They are getting the job done. So, yeah, number 10 team in the league. I actually believe that. I think they're playing really good football, and they definitely could be a playoff team. We're not talking about them enough. The number 9 team, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams just because they lost to the Eagles does not make them any less good in my opinion. The next two teams that I'm going to talk about from the 2-1 team brigade, I just have a feeling that are just a little bit better, a little bit on the echelon. I really like what they're doing, but Rams look good. Their offense is very well versed. We know that it's well versed and it's going to be very good. So, yeah, they're going to keep moving things in the right direction. I really like what the Rams are doing. Their offense is phenomenal. Now, their defense has to hold tight in the later games. That is the only caveat right there. They didn't play great against the Eagles in the second half, and that's why they were able to catch up. Jalen Hurts played a really good football game, but the Rams, they didn't get on the gas pedal as much as they should have. They didn't stay on the gas pedal as much as they should have. That's why they have fallen. And that does worry me a tiny bit that their defense is not what I thought it was. I've talked about it a lot, how much I think it's going to improve, how much better I think it's going to be. And it wasn't a great showing in the second half of that Eagles game. I think things will be okay and they'll be heading in the right direction. But for right now, that number 9 spot fits them well. Number 8, we have to go with the Detroit Lions. And the reason we're going with the Detroit Lions is because ever since they lost to the Packers, they've come back and played good football. They beat down the Chicago Bears. And they took one away from the Baltimore Ravens, a team that I thought was going to be one of the best teams in football. And they're sitting at 1-2. If this was college, people would already be writing them out of the playoffs altogether. So, watching them take that loss is really tough to watch, right? The Lions, they have a very good football team. We know they have a very good football team. Their quarterback, Jared Goff, he played a lot better. And he played great against the Chicago Bears. So he's making moves in the right direction. They obviously have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have Jahmyr Gibbs. They have David Montgomery. That team is absolutely loaded on the offensive side of the ball. If their defense plays better, we're talking about a team that could rival the Eagles. We're talking about a team that could rival the Buccaneers, that could rival the Packers. But the defense has to get better. And speaking of defense, let's go to the number 17, the Green Bay Packers. They have unfortunately, the pick six led to a touchdown, the blocked field goal. Led to the field goal that lost them the football game. The Cleveland Browns are going to be an issue, apparently, because they beat the team that I had as the number 3 team, right? No, I really don't think so. I think the Packers just had a bad day, but the defense still played really good. They had no problem in that part. Only thing you could complain about is that late game drive that you could go, man, the Packers really should have been able to get that done. But it's okay. They're still definitely the number 17 because that team is still very good. If their offense gets things going, you're talking about a team that's probably going to be a contender. A team that you could see in the conference championship game. A team that you could see in the Super Bowl. It kind of depends on where things are right there. But right now, that Packers team has a little bit of work to do. Now, we're going to go to the number 6 team, which is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, my issue with them is that they've kind of squeaked a few wins out. They did really well to get the win against the Seahawks. They played the Saints, who really have not been playing great football, and then they got a little bit lucky. They got a late second field goal, or like a last second field goal against the Cardinals, and they got the job done. Now, they have some injuries on the team. So when the injuries are finally over, will they get things going in the right direction? There's a very good chance of it. Christian McCaffrey's playing okay football with Brock Purdy's back. If I know they're missing some offensive line help and the receivers are a little bit banged up. But if they're playing at full force, is that 49ers team a problem? I think absolutely, especially because they have one of the easiest schedules in the league. Whoever made that a decision, why? But either way, that's definitely the number 6 team in the league because they're 3-0. Number 5 team, I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the reason I actually had to reshoot this video, I had to decide to myself who was gonna be 5-4, and I think Tampa Bay squeaking out wins against the Jets and barely beating Houston is not quite as impressive as beating teams like Denver, in my personal opinion. Now, they played a really good game week 1. They beat down the Falcons, but the Falcons also just got shut out by the Panthers, and the Panthers were not a team I looked at like that at all. So, yeah, Tampa Bay is really, I guess it would kind of go on strength of schedule at this point, right? Baker Mayfield's still playing absolutely great ball. And the thing is, with Tampa Bay, is if they get both linemen back, I think that team's going to be a real problem, a real threat to the Packers, Lions, Seahawks, Niners, Eagles. They have a pretty good, solid team. The receiving core, if it's healthy, gonna be very scary. Godwin, Evans, Egbuka, issue. Bucky Irving, issue. Rachaad White, issue. Tight end, I mean, I would like K-Dot to get more receptions, mostly because he was my backup tight end in fantasy. I kicked him off the team because he sucked, but that's not the point. Either way, Tampa Bay, they have things that to write home about, but their strength of wins really hasn't been that impressive with who they played. So I think I'm going to put them at number 5 compared to this number 4 team. And with that number 4 team, it is the Indianapolis Colts. Well, and we're talking about the strength of wins, right? They played the Titans, who are absolutely dog poop right now. They beat Miami, not playing great football, but they just went toe-to-toe with the Buffalo Bills, so we got to give them their credit there. They also they beat Denver Broncos, and Denver Broncos I still expect to be a really good team. I was definitely wrong on thinking they're going to win their division right now because the Chargers are looking incredible. But the Colts are a very good football team. Daniel Jones is playing great. Jonathan Taylor's playing great. Kwity Paye is getting to the quarterback. DeForest Buckner's still a great player. Kenny Moore playing very good football. I forget what they call him, but Ward, Javarius Ward, I think is his name, is a very good football player as well. This team has loaded talent all over the field, and apparently I just was not paying attention. Obviously, Zaire Franklin is probably the best tackler in the NFL right now. Colts have a good football team. Can they keep that going? I guess that is yet to be seen because they have a decent schedule coming up, but they're starting off 3-0. They're looking really good. They look dominant, so they keep it going. And with that, the number 3 team is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. They beat, as said, Denver Broncos in a last second or a late game touchdown and a last second field goal. But yeah, they also beat the runner-ups last year and the Kansas City Chiefs. And then, what did they do? They came back. They won yet another game. And then, they took on Denver. They beat them too. The Chargers are a really good football team with Justin Herbert at the quarterback position. Omarion Hampton ran the ball a little better than he had. Unfortunately, they lost Najee Harris to a torn Achilles, so you do have that in your back of your mind. Keenan Allen came back and is playing good ball. Quentin Johnston is catching everything. Ladd McConkey is unfortunately taking steps back, but that's because the other receivers are showing up and showing out. And I talked about that earlier on way before, is that if they got some help from that receiver position, you could see the Chargers being an issue. And it looks like everybody's finally turning into the receivers that they're supposed to be, and the Chargers are rolling. Look how that works out. The number 2 team, I think, still has to be the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, their week 1 win came down to a little bit of luck. Derrick Henry fumbling. We talked about the Lions earlier. Happened for them too. But Buffalo came back. They dominated the New York Jets. They did what they were supposed to do there. They had a real battle with the Miami Dolphins. These are 2 divisional games. One of them they dominated, one of them they struggled a little bit, but they still got the job done. That's the important part there. Their offense still looks really, really good with Josh Allen at the helm. Their defense, I still think there's some questions, but Hey, I don't think you're complaining too much, especially because you were missing Ed Oliver and you were missing Matt Milano as well. So losing those players is really not good, but getting the job done, that's really all that matters. If it was based on a field kicker or a roughing the punter penalty, so be it. Bills got the job done. They're still that number 2 team in the league. But they're not quite the number 1 because the number 1 team is still the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions of last year, the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts came back, threw 3 touchdowns. There you go. Jalen Hurts is back in the saddle again. Now, he finally found A.J. Brown. That's the important part. The problem was they were getting absolutely trounced by the Los Angeles Rams, and they had to come back. They had to play better defense. They played better defense in the second half. Their defense played great in the second half. Their offense did wonderful in the second half. That first half, they were getting absolutely dominated. They still got the job done. They got the ball all the way to the end zone with the big man, Jordan Davis. A.J. Brown finally caught a touchdown. Jalen Hurts played really, really well. That team is still the best team in the league because they haven't lost yet. That's why I can't really change it because they won the Super Bowl last year. And the Chiefs have been through this for years now where they look bad in the regular season and they go on and win in the postseason. The Eagles haven't looked exactly too far impressive, but they beat the teams that are on their schedule. They beat the Cowboys. We talk about how good they are. I guess they're not really that good anymore after the Micah Parsons trade, but you get what I'm saying. They beat the Chiefs, who we still expect to be really, really good. And the Rams, we expect them to be a contender for the whole entire conference. Eagles really are still doing their thing. The Eagles still at the number 1 position. And with that, that is going to end today's video. And I do appreciate you so much if you made it all the way to the end of the video. A little bit of a spike in subscribers, so I want to tell you thank you so much if you have made it here. If you do enjoy me, I do appreciate that so very much. We have a Titan short we're going to plan on tomorrow, and we're also going to have predictions. So make sure you stay in tune. We really want to have you here. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe as you see a video up top over here, and we'll see you all on the next video.